السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، إنه تعالى جل عن الشبيه والمثيل والند والنظير. ونشهد أن سيدنا وسندنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وداعينا ومرشدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صفيه وخليله صلى الله تبارك وتعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال تعالى: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. وقال تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, as always we begin by acknowledging and understanding that that our Creator, there is no Creator but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is our Master, our Sustainer, our Nourisher. And we begin by sending the choicest blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his companions and his followers until the end of times. Today is the 4th of Shawwal, and I hope and I pray that all of you have had a wonderful Eid al-Fitr. In today's khutbah, I just want to remind all of you that throughout the month of Ramadan, alhamdulillah, by the grace and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of us here, we have done more ibadah throughout this blessed month, right? All of us here, we've prayed extra prayers at night time. We've fasted throughout the days. We've read the Quran. Alhamdulillah, all of us here, we knew exactly what minute Salat al-Maghrib was every single day. We knew, what time Salat al-Fajr was. We would pray these prayers, on time and as soon as time came in, right? This was the spiritual closeness that we had to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the month of Ramadan. Ramadan was a time in which we were able to, get every single type of good. We strengthened our relationship with our neighbors. We gave zakat, we gave our charity. We spent i'tikaf in the masjid. And of course we made dua as well for ourselves and for our family and our parents and children. And so Ramadan was a time for all of us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ramadan was a time in which we did more ibadah and we strengthened our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I wanted to remind you, all of us today, in today's khutbah, that what is the purpose of Ramadan? Ramadan's purpose is not that it's just a one-off thing. Ramadan's purpose is not that we just increase our religiosity just for a little while and then we go back to the ways from before. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, we all know this, that the purpose of fasting was لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that we become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that closeness doesn't happen if we return back to the ways of of before Ramadan. That closeness only happens when we make a change in our lifestyle. Right? Ramadan is a time for changes in our lifestyle. We think of Ramadan as a bonus time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. It's a bonus for us to increase in our relationship with Allah. So after Ramadan finishes, we have this relationship, this spiritual high, so to speak, with Allah, and that continues throughout the year until the next of Ramadan. The Ramadan is a time where we increase spiritually and we remove the bodily intake in ourselves, right? We eat less, we drink less, we sleep less, right? Why? So we can strengthen the soul, right? We've mentioned this many times in previous khutbahs that we have two components of our body, the physical and the spiritual. The spiritual is called the ruh, the soul, and both of these things have opposites. They are opposite. What feeds the soul actually harms the body, and what feeds the body harms the soul. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by limiting our nourishment of the body, the nourishment of the soul increases. And the soul is nourished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran tells us, فَإِذَا سَوَيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. Right? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, what does He say? He says, when I blew my soul, وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. When I blow my soul into him, فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Then he commanded the angels to bow down and fall into sajda to Adam alayhi salam. Right? But nonetheless, the soul comes from Allah, and so its nourishment is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The body comes from this ground, so its nourishment is from things that are in this world. But nonetheless, Ramadan is a time where we increase spiritually, and we lessen the intake of our body. And the purpose of this is to strengthen our relationship with Allah. We should try to continue this relationship with Allah. Right? The Quran never mentions one-off times, one-off ibadas and praises that. Right? If you study the Quran praises continuity. The Quran praises lifestyle changes. Right? You study in the entire Quran, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? He says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ. They are people, believers are those who are da'imun upon their salah. Da'imun meaning they are continuous upon their prayer. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. They don't just give the zakah one time, rather they are always giving their zakah year in, year out. They are always giving their zakah. الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. They establish prayer. They don't just pray one time. So the Quran is always highlighting the continuity and the establishment of ibadah. It's not and the lifestyle of a believer. Rather, it's not just mentioning one-off time that a person, the person does some type of good deed, right? So Allah will not say in the Quran that the best believers or the successful believers are those who just pray one time. Rather, it's those who are continuous in their prayer, those who have established their prayer, those who have made prayer a lifestyle for them, right? Those who are continuous in their zakah, those who are continuous in repeating in their zakah. وَذَاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا وَالذَّاكِرَاتِ, right? They continuously, excessively remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not just one time do they remember Allah, but rather they are always remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the change that we need to see from our Ramadan, right? Ramadan for us was a training ground. And now, inshallah, we've developed these good habits. It should be our goal to continue these good habits of ours, right? Maybe whatever habits that we've developed in the month of Ramadan, we should try to continue as much as we can of them. We should try to continue as much as we can of them. Bishr al-Hafi, one of the Sufis, famous Sufis, someone came to him one time and he said, there are people who only worship in Ramadan and after Ramadan they disappear. This is a person, by the way, who lived 300 years after our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, over 1,000 years ago. And they had the same problem back then, is that people in Ramadan, alhamdulillah, people would worship Allah, but they would go back to their ways. And so when he heard this, he said, how could people do that, right? Do they not know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them gifts and and favors them and showers them with His mercy throughout the year, and not just on one month, right? And so we want to be people who are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the year and not just in 1 month. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tells us in a hadith, سددوا وقاربوا سددوا وقاربوا ولن يدخل الجنة أحد بعملي وإن أحب الأعمال إلى الله أجومها وإن قل. The hadith is سددوا وقاربوا. Saddidu, cover the gaps or cover the deficiencies. وقاربوا, get as close as you can. Right? This is the journey of a believer. Every time he makes a mistake, he's supposed to cover it up, ask Allah to forgive him and cover his faults. وقاربوا. And he's supposed to get as close as he can to perfection. Right? A believer is never perfect. Right? He doesn't get 100% with his relationship with Allah. But his goal is to get as close as he can to the best relationship with Allah. Saddidu wa qaribu. This is the goal. This is our journey of life. That we make mistakes, we cover them up, we ask Allah to forgive us, and we try not to repeat them. But وَقَارِبُ, at the same time, we try to strengthen our relationship with Allah on a daily basis. وَلَا يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ أَحَدٌ بِعَمَلِهِ. The Prophet ﷺ then gives us a consolation prize. He's talking here to the average believer, right? The one whose deeds are not that excessive. He says that no one will be able to enter into Jannah just by their actions. No one will be able to enter into Jannah just by their actions. And this is a consolation for us, right? We understand this hadith as the Prophet ﷺ is having mercy upon those whose deeds are not that many, right? There are people who, mashallah, worship Allah, day in, day out, throughout the night as well, right? They're mashallah, always in the servitude of Allah. They're always in the worship of Allah. But many of us, we're not at that level, right? We're not at that level. And so the Prophet ﷺ says, Rather, it's the mercy of Allah that He lets you enter into Jannah. But our job is to try. لَن يَدْخُلَ الْجَنَّةَ أَحَدٌ بِعَمَلِ. Our job is to ask Allah for forgiveness and to continue to get as close as we can to perfection. This is what we have to do, right? This is our goal. And then our Prophet ﷺ said, وَإِنَّ أَحَبَّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلْ. The best action, the most beloved action in some hadith, is this hadith, we have all heard it before. وَإِنَّ أَحَبَّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلْ. The best, most beloved action, the most beloved deed in the eyes of Allah is that which is less, even though it is less, is continuous, right? It's أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلْ. It is continuous, it is consistent, right? It's habitual, right? It's something that happens every day, even if it's something small and minute. Because Allah doesn't love the one-time performed ibadah. Rather, He loves the lifestyle change where a believer changes himself for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worships Allah accordingly. And so, for my khutbah here today, I want to finish with this. I want every person here to do two things, right? Two things, inshallah, when we go home. Number one is eliminate one bad habit of ours, right? This should be our goal today, inshallah. Then when we go home, we look at all of our bad habits, we say we're going to eliminate one, and we're going to be consistent upon that, right? I want to think, if you think of Ramadan, Ramadan is a time where our productivity or our relationship to Allah increases. Let's say, for example, it increases 100 points, right? We don't go back to zero, we don't lose 100 points after Ramadan. Some of that should stick, right? Maybe we lose only 40 points or 50 points of our productivity, right? So meaning that some of what we do in Ramadan continues afterwards. But the way we do that is we continue to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first thing we do is, first goal that we should have is we have one bad habit, we try to eliminate that permanently. Maybe in the month of Ramadan we stopped, using the F word, for example. Or we stopped committing certain sin, we stopped, getting mad at people on the road. Or honking at them, or cutting them off, or whatever it was. We eliminated some bad habit of ours in Ramadan, and even if we didn't, let's choose a bad habit today that we can eliminate permanently from our habits, right? Bad habits, we have to eliminate them. That's the first thing. And the second thing is let's choose one good thing that we did in Ramadan and continue it, right? If we wake up at 6 a.m. to go to work, wake up 10 minutes early and read some Quran, right? We read Quran throughout the month of Ramadan, let's continue to read Quran, right? We made a dhikr on the way to work or on the way back, let's continue that habit if we can, right? When we came back home from work, we read some Quran before we did anything else. Let's continue that if we can. Before Maghrib prayer, we made some dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the iftar. Let's continue that if we can. Whatever it is, right? Our goal should be, inshallah, after Ramadan, that we take one bad habit of ours, we eliminate it, and we take one good habit of ours that we did, one good thing that we did in Ramadan, and we continue it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look for us to just be Ramadan Muslims. He wants for us to change our lifestyle and our habits. And that was what Ramadan is for. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, allow me and allow all of us to change our bad habits, eliminate our bad habits, and establish good habits. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. One last thing, inshallah, before we conclude. The Prophet ﷺ, he tells us in the hadith that whosoever fasts the 30 days of Ramadan and then he follows it up, or whosoever fasts the entire Ramadan and then he follows it up with 6 days of fast in the month of Shawwal, it is as if he has fasted for the entire year. And many of the scholars, it's a very, very famous hadith, and many of these scholars have understood this hadith that one fast is equal to 10, multiplied tenfold, right? And so 36 fast for the month of Ramadan and 6 days afterwards is equivalent to 360 days, which is the Islamic lunar year. And so my humble advice and request to all of you, if we can, let's establish the sixth fast of Ramadan, the sixth fast of Shawwal. They are voluntary fast. We make the intention of voluntary fast, and if we have qada fast, we can also make up the qada fast. There is actually a big discussion in the books of fiqh, right? Can you double dip in the intention, right? So let's say, for example, you have some makeup fast, from Ramadan. Can you double dip and use it, make up your fast and also make the intention of the 6 days of Shawwal? The scholars unanimously agree that if it's for this Ramadan, previous Ramadan, you should try to not double dip, right? So if you have any qadas, if you have any previous makeups that you have to make for this specific Ramadan, then you should not double dip with the 6 days of Shawwal, because the hadith says, whoever fasts the entire Ramadan and then fasts 6 days of Shawwal, it is as if he has fasted the entire year. But if you have any other previous year's makeups, you can also double dip with them. And the only exception that the scholars give is for the sisters who have to make up their fast because they were not able to fast in Ramadan. So for sisters, they're allowed to double dip regardless. But for brothers, if it's for the previous years and not this current year, then of course you can make 2 intentions with one. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity for us to fast even if we don't have any makeups. Right? We should always try to fast as much as we can. It is something that's good for the soul. It strengthens our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so, along with eliminating a bad habit and establishing a good habit, let's try to fast these 6 days of Shawwal if we can. Fasting on Monday and Thursdays, of course, is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you can fast on Mondays and Thursdays, absolutely. If you want to fast on the white days, or the 13th, 14th, and 15th of the lunar month, you can also do that, which is an established sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But nonetheless, these are 6 days of Shawwal. It is an emphasized sunnah, so please try to establish this if you can. And lastly, on your way in, you may have noticed that there is a table at the door, which is a charity called the DKMS, which is from throughout the world, and they're here today, or we have volunteers here today that they are trying to have you swab for, there's a campaign called a swab for thawab, right? That you take a swab of your cheek, your DNA, and you send it in and you become a donor and a registrant, and your DNA goes into the database, right? And the reason why we're doing this actually is because there's over 30% of 30% of worldwide patients who have cancer are actually from South Asia and from Arab countries. I want you to understand this. 30%, 1 in 3 people almost, are people who have blood cancer are from Arab countries or from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. And only 2% of the actual donors registered are from those areas. So it is very hard to find a match. So I request all my brothers, if you are from an Arab country, right, and any of the Arab countries, or you're from South Asia, please do try to stop by and it takes 60 seconds to swab your DNA and to put it into the system, right? And hopefully this way you can save a life or 2 or many more also as well. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Man ahyaha faka'annama ahya an-nas jami'a. Whosoever saves one life, it is as if he has saved all of mankind. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى عليه واحدة صلى الله عليه بها 10. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم انا نسالك رضاك والجنه ونعوذ بك من سخطك وغضبك والنار. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا واعتدلوا. Please straighten the rows, make sure your heels are on the line, please fill in the gaps. Also, there is a sister in our community, Sister Tanjir. Her father has passed away. So everyone is requested to make dua for her, for him, his forgiveness and his highest status in Jannah, inshallah, after the prayer. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله